Micah's coming in there. You don't have CeeDee Lamb. I mean, I thought it was going to be over, especially with the way the Packers started. Going up 13-0, Jordan Love throws the bomb. The Cowboys showed some heart. They showed some fight. They showed some toughness. Dak was phenomenal.
Yeah.
My man Javonte Williams was great. The running game
Your
is
guy
back.
George Pickens.
George Pickens did his thing. He dropped another easy one, but he was fantastic. And look, the defense came up with the big fumble recovery, and then the special teams. Yeah. So you got to have all three. The defense wasn't great, but they did force the fumble. That's all I'm saying on Jordan Love. And then the special teams points. So I gave them. It's a tie.
Yeah.
But I gave him an A-.
Wow.
The minus is for, I can't give you an A in a tie, anything but a win. But I thought they were strong. Wow.
When's the last time they got an A?
This might be the first.
I feel like this is.
This might be a first. Yeah. But I respect to the Cowboys for what they did yesterday.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. You go into that game, and I know Green Bay had hopes of going undefeated that were dashed last week against the Browns. That was unfortunate. And then, I mean, they had Micah Parsons.
Well, he did save the game.
No, he did. I mean, that sack that he had chasing Dak down the back.
It saved the game, Coach.
That was worth being the highest paid non-quarterback.
Well, it was worth. It was
just that.
It's
alone.
why they didn't lose the game.
No, I mean, 40 points. I mean, the Micah factor,
yes,
they're right there.
Dak
they
was going to run for a touchdown. No, what they would have had is 44 and won the game.
And with CeeDee Lamb didn't. All right, so they didn't have their best receiver. Their best player was in Green Bay because he got traded there. And I am so impressed with Dak, and I feel like I've been hard on Dak in the sense that I think he's been a good quarterback, but never saw him as being the highest paid quarterback and being that elite sort of force multiplier. But it's hard to argue that what he's done this season hasn't been elite and hasn't been a force multiplier. And he has put them on their back and willed them to levels that I didn't think they were going to be able to show this early on, especially with the struggles that they've had defensively. But he's been really, really impressive.
Yeah, if they had one difference-making defensive player, they'd be 3-1.
Yeah, I mean,
listen, Coach.
Or what's Green Bay 2-1-1?
Green Bay's 2-1-1. One of those
too.
games they allowed essentially 3 points on defense. Like I was surprised that Dallas was able to keep it close because I was surprised that they were able to move the ball the way they were without CeeDee Lamb. And while I disagree wholeheartedly with basically everything Coach has said about Micah, I agree with him wholeheartedly about. I think, and I know, Brew, you mentioned the other day about like Dak's numbers hadn't been great this year. I thought Dak's been playing awesome, and finally he had the stats of an awesome game. And I have been really impressed by Schottenheimer. I have to give, I have to be fair. They are a prolific offensive team, and they were able to do it in this game without one of their better offensive linemen, without their best receiver, with a running back that we all thought was just, kind of replacement level. And Dak's been great, and the offense has been interesting. And I also thought they managed the game better than Green Bay did, which I know we'll talk about Green Bay's side of it later.
The end was a mess.
Yeah, and so, I mean, listen, I can't get over the Micah trade when I watch this team score the way they score, because I do feel like that if they just had the 20th best defense in football, that they could be a real problem this year.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk here. This was an unbelievable game, as you guys all know if you actually watched it. And I'm sorry, I have to apologize. I'm the reason why they tied, because I'm watching this game and I'm like, man, I kind of want both teams to win here, because I was like, this is such an insane game. It'll feel bad for any team to lose. And I was like, man, can't it just end in a tie? And it ended in a tie. So, I apologize for putting that out there, but the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott and Sean Hammer, for that matter, have wildly impressed me. Wildly impressed me. But before I go on, Dallas Cowboys fans, I know you love me and I know you hate me because I tell you the truth, right? I'm not here just to give you nothing but 100% positives about the Dallas Cowboys just because you're this massive, large fan base, and it's good to kind of pander to large fan bases. But I tell you the truth, And so I'm asking you to please subscribe and watch the full length of the video, because when you do, this is what happens when people watch the full length of the video and subscribe. It helps create an avalanche, and I am trying to create the best possible content that I can. I am trying to grow this channel at the most aggressive level that I can, so we can fully root ourselves in this sports talk community. I am going absolutely all in. The Seattle Seahawks fan base showed me what is possible, and so I am reaching out. I am just going Allen. And if you subscribe and you watch my videos, you know that at least I am always telling you the truth. You know that I am not here just to dunk on them and rip on them just because I want to troll the Cowboys fans, or that I'm here just to elevate them and praise them just because I want them all to say, hey, you're awesome, you're great. With me, you always get the truth and the reality as I see it. And make no mistake about it, going into the season when everyone said the Dallas Cowboys were going to be bad and that they were going to be a mess, I said, no, they're not. I said, I think this offense will be great. I said, I think Dak Prescott is too good of a quarterback to fail with these pieces around him. And lo and behold, here we are. Now, to be fair, I thought the defense was going to be a lot better, but to be double fair, I did not know that they were trading Micah Parsons when I, planted that flag. So I didn't have a good frame of reference as to what this defense would look like without Micah Parsons. But this was a huge game. The Baltimore Ravens have everything to fight for. Everything to fight for. MVP, Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion, and Harbaugh and whatnot. Storied franchise, they got everything to fight for. Everything to fight for, and they show none of it. They show no fight. They have true Super Bowl aspirations. With an all-time special quarterback in Lamar Jackson, they have true Super Bowl aspirations. This Dallas Cowboys team, since the beginning of the season, since before the season, had every single reason to just mail it in, to just give up, to wave the blue and white flag and just be like, oh, what do you want me to do? I made the video about the Packers versus the Cowboys, and the question was, who's under more pressure, Jordan Love or Dak Prescott? And my take was, I don't think there's any pressure on Dak, because this right now, things are a mess. CD is injured. The Green Bay Packers are a great team. This defense is awesome. Micah Parsons, etc., etc., etc. If Dak fails here, if Dak fails spectacularly, if Dak has a game where he's 20 for 45, 210 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions, just one of those weird, uneven games where you're like, that was a nice throw. Oh, that was a bad throw. And they just lose 42 to 21 or something, never really in it. I wouldn't be like, see, this is why Dak is not good enough, blah, blah, blah. I'd be like, I don't know. This team's a mess right now. What do you want them to do? They're injured. They're banged up. They just went up against a great team. There's no pressure on Dak right now, and they had all the reason to just not go all in, and here they are. And I think it's awesome. And I think Collinsworth said it best throughout the broadcast. The play calling. The play calling has been awesome. The play calling, the play designs. Dak has been great. That's why I'm watching this game and I'm like, I try to not really have a rooting interest. But I'm still a fan at heart. I'm still watching these games and I'm watching this and I'm like, man, I'm now that it keeps going back and forth, it's a wild game. I'm like, I try to ask myself, I'm like, well, who do I think deserves to win this game, right? Who deserves to win this game? And I'm kind of like, man, both teams are really balling. And the Cowboys made a couple mistakes, a couple really bad penalties at crucial moments that really gave the Packers some opportunities where you're just like, what are you doing? What are you doing right now? That was devastating, because then you can come away with the win. But all in all, this was obviously, speaking of an avalanche, a point avalanche, just an offensive avalanche. And neither team blinked. And again, both defenses were hardly playing at their best. It's fair to admit and fair to say, but when that happens, there's a lot of pressure on the quarterback. It's different when your defense is playing pretty well and the opposing defense is not. And so you're able to put on those avalanche points. There's not a lot of pressure. It's very settled. It's very comfortable. Feels very pitch and catch. When you realize that both quarterbacks are eating right now, when everyone's eating, that puts a ton of pressure on your offense. And because I always think myself, who's going to blink first? What defense is going to get that crucial stop? Who's going to drop that ball where you're like, oh my God, yeah, it was 3rd and 7, but like, dude, you were wide open. That changes every, who blanks first, where do the Tide start to turn? And they didn't. And they're coming up with some huge plays. Huge plays. Huge throws, huge catches, huge runs. I mean, like I was watching that was a wild game, man. That was a wild game, and it was wildly impressive. It really was, and I think the Cowboys deserve all the credit in the world because they have every reason to just give up. The Packers have seemingly way more to play for, way more to fight for. Everyone's talking about them with their Super Bowl aspirations. They're the best team in the NFL right now. As was stated, they're built to win. They're built to be dominant. They're built to win the division, the conference, the NFL as a whole. They got everything to fight for. When the Packers have everything to be like, man, I can't wait to go home. I'm going to lay down. I'm going to relax. I'm going to get a massage. I'm going to eat some good food. Gonna rest up. I got some nice PT work tomorrow. Gonna get stretched out. Oh man, you know what I want for breakfast? Yeah, I want a bacon, egg, and cheese tomorrow. Yeah, I want a bacon, egg, and... Yeah, I want to get bacon, egg, and cheese. Some home fries. That's what I'm eating tomorrow, man. They have every reason just to check out, and they didn't. They went all out. And that's why A-, that's a joke. That was an A+ performance. You can be A+ and still lose a game. It's not just about the outcome. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys played way better than the Chicago Bears, and the Chicago Bears won. So, it's just Brew made this big reveal, and I'm like, well, it's clearly going to be an A game, but I forgot that he pulls out the pluses and the minuses. So, I think overall this was an incredibly positive game. The Packers had so much momentum. Yeah, they lost to the Browns, but everyone sees them as this great team, this suffocating defense. Look what the Washington Commanders did against this defense. Look what the Detroit Lions did against this defense. And look at what the Dallas Cowboys did against this defense. Very, very, very impressive. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Dallas Cowboys? How impressed are you by this game? How do you feel about a tie? And how do you feel about Brew's grade? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So, you agree with me or disagree with me? Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time. See.